And this gentleman's sticking to his guns.
Oh my gosh, this person will not waive his rights. What are we gonna do? He's staring at the ground. He's kicking bark dust. Anything not to make eye contact. Anything not to listen to reason. They come out to Rogue Nation and they say, hey, you're supposed to be a slave.
But right now, you don't need to be standing right here in front of my
facility. You can't even think, mother. And he says, oh, I'm not a slave. And then they're like, this guy says he's not a slave. So they get everyone involved to try to turn him into a slave. Get an extra cage ready. Are we trying to enslave this guy? That's what's happening. They're trying to turn him into a slave. Imagine if it wasn't Rogue Nation. Imagine how quickly they would flip them over. Rogue Nation is the man. I'm subscribed and I rung the bell. That's what the confusion is about. Why won't he accept his slavery?
Have a great day, okay?
This video is called He is Standing His Ground. Georgia Juvenile Detention Fail. Rogue Nation, right here. Hit the subscribe button.
Power does what it wants. Power does what it wants. Power does what it wants.
Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete.
Good. How are you doing?
Mr. Darasol, director.
Oh, how you doing today, sir?
He's got his hands in his pockets. Notice Rogue Nation is very polite.
What y'all got going on?
We're just journalists out in the area today.
Say again?
We're journalists. We're just out in the area today.
Oh,
that's pretty straightforward.
Okay, have y'all got permission from my leadership to handle this type of stuff with people coming up to the facility that's journalists and newspaper personnel or news?
No, sir. The free press, we don't ask permission to exercise that. It's a right.
Well, this is state property.
Absolutely. And if you want to look up Cox Communications versus Lowe, 1985 Georgia Appeals Court, you'll find out that we're totally lawful to be in an unsecured...
Deep breath. Did you see that? He's bringing up something. He's actually citing to something like specific and being very reasonable. And when you're dealing with people like this, reason is never acceptable. And so look at this deep breath. He's actually shaking his head as he hears the most reasonable stuff ever. He's shaking his head no, just slightly, and then he takes a big deep breath.
And now that we're totally lawful to be in an unsecured parking lot.
Okay, well, I'm not sure of that, so what I'm going to do, can I get your name and your information, please? Mr. Lee?
So Rogue has a tag on him that says Major Lee Awesome.
Awesome Lee, is that right?
Yes, Lee Awesome.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. What is your name?
I'm not going to give that out. Thank you. No problem. I am just looking at the signage on the front of the building.
Refused to give his name.
Two gentlemen here claim to be free press. One is by the name of Lee. They both have walked in my parking lot in front of the state property.
Okay, I'm going to pause this just to say this. The guy went inside. We're talking about this guy right here. He went inside and I don't know if the security came out yet, but he comes back out and he's on the phone and he's making essentially a report to someone, maybe 911, maybe a supervisor or somebody else. But he comes out on purpose because he wants Rogue to hear that he's calling someone. The phone call is a threat. And you can watch in these videos all the time and you'll see the people that are making the calls, they want the people that they're calling on to hear the call.
Taking pictures and videotaping the sign in the front of the building, recording everything. They claim to be free press. I'm calling you and I'm trying to get this Wayne on the phone. But the two white males, the one refused to give his name. He's out on the road taking pictures of ours.
The white males, those are the ones you really need to be scared of.
State property, guard line sign. I have this gentleman just walking free reign in front of my building. And I asked him if he communicate with anyone.
So I'm going to rewind that so you can hear it again.
I have this gentleman just walking free reign in front of my building.
The problem is there's a gentleman who's free in front of the building. The guy literally says it. I have a guy walking around freely in front of the building. That's what he's reporting. There's a guy who's acting freely in front of the public building. Fool.
And I asked them to they communicate with
This is, of course, a black guy. Why is his race relevant? You tell me.
anyone from this department. They said no, look up, said something from other department that gives them a free right to walk in a open, unsecured parking lot. So I'm calling you, informing you.
Some like random stuff he's talking about that gives him the right to like exercise basic rights that we have in America that my ancestors might have died for. So yeah, I don't know what the hell this guy thinks he's doing. He's so he's crazy, you know. He's just out here being free, and we need help, you know. Have the sheriff come right away. Get an extra cage ready.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they're yes, they are.
Cox
Out
communicate.
of my parking lot. They're videotaping. They're on site right now.
Cox Communication versus Lowe's, Georgia Appeals Court, 1985.
Ouch.
He claims to be acting something cable cops. I don't know what it is. And he
So he cited case law to him, which was Cox versus somebody, and he's confusing the case law that he cited with the news network that he founded, Activism News Network. Check it out on Roku.
thinks he's basically stating that they have a right to be here and do this, what they're doing. And that's
I'd be happy to explain it to her if you'd like me to.
Eminently reasonable.
Now, he said that he'll be happy to explain it to you if you want to hear him out, but if not, I'm already talking legal.
Okay,
But
well,
Guy who's on the phone right now, I want to just talk to you or something.
talk to legal. I mean, why you won't give me the information?
So
This facility director, I'm not understanding.
well, that's the choice that hear him out.
Well, talk to legal. I mean, why you won't give me the information? You the facility director, I'm not understanding.
Well, that's the choice that,
The head of the operations, okay.
of course.
I already gave you the information.
So the woman on the phone is objecting to why they won't provide the information, but he's already provided the information. But you see, the problem is that Rogue Nation is too reasonable. And why I say that is because you got 1, 2, 3 people here that are not capable of being reasonable. In fact, when they hear the truth and they hear good reason, they look at the ground, they look away, they try to obfuscate. They don't want to hear reason. They don't want it. They don't want to hear your reason, Rogue.
Well, the only information he gave now is when I was talking to you that
Told you I was a journalist.
he's some type of journalist.
So the only information that he gave us now is when I was talking to you. Is that true? No, it's not true. It's a lie. He told him very first thing, very first contact, that he was a journalist, just out taking pictures.
And yes, I told them we have a website, Sydney Wayne. We have a legal department that handles all this when it comes to journalism, Mr. Lee and all that. But still, they're out here recording.
Mr. Lee and all that. You see how dumb this person is?
And this gentleman's sticking to his guns.
Oh my gosh, this person will not waive his rights. What are we going to do? Says the large black man who lives in the South.
Okay, so let me call him again. Okay, let me just
All right, I'll be standing by.
and when you say, okay, all right.
You see what happens when you get drunk on government milk? You forget about the entire history of this country, the entire history of your people or of Americans, or however you want to slice it up. You know, you give someone a little name tag right here on their pants. That's all you need. New slaves.
So again, you guys just came on your own reconnaissance instead of getting with the legal department.
So you guys are just independent instead of being dependent. And if you're independent, we don't like that. We want you to be dependent.
Absolutely. Yeah, no one, when we have a right to exercise, we don't ask different.
News network. Okay.
Activism News Network, yeah.
Mhm.
When we have a right, we don't call people to exercise it. Like, if you have the right to conceal carry a weapon in Georgia, you don't call the cops
That's
every time
totally
you leave.
different than
No,
what we're
no.
talking about.
Exercising rights is exercising
Yeah,
rights.
that is correct.
Yes, I know it is.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I know that too.
I
But
do this
walking-
all over the state.
So he knows that Rogue is right. And he knows exercising rights is exercising rights, and that's okay. And he knows that. Don't you get it? That's what all this is about. Is that he knows it's okay to take pictures, And he has no problem with it, and that's why he brought the extra security out and made all the phone calls and told all the lies. Because he's totally fine with it. Didn't you hear him? He just said he's totally fine with it. Continue to join as we survey the state of America through the lens of cameras everywhere with me, Pickthall. To support this channel, the absolute best thing everyone can do is subscribe, like, share the videos, and comment below. To make a direct impact, please send donations to paypal.me/cameras everywhere. Follow our social media, send videos for review or other correspondence to mrpickthall@gmail.com. As for the most attentive among you, find links to our affiliate channels in the description, including to our personal channels, Pickthall and Mrs. Pickthall.
That's fine, but walking up to that, and I have every right to come out here and question you. And
Absolutely.
let you know that this is state property, and that we do have a department, a legal department, and a department to where they deal with media.
And of course, and you want a guy who takes initiative and comes out and asks questions. Definitely. You just don't want an idiot to do it.
Every jail and detention center I've been to in Georgia has come out and told me that it's state property. I don't know if you folks think that.
Wow, look at that. He just started cleaning the ground.
Because I'm a journalist, I can't read, or if
I never said that, so don't.
Oh, okay, well, we know it's state property. That's exactly.
Wow. You think that's a coincidence? You think that they reached the end of the conversation where Rogue has basically checkmated the guy, and the guy says, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about, except for at the same time he says, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at him. He's staring at the ground. He's kicking bark dust. Anything not to make eye contact. Anything not to listen to reason. Just like the people in the last videos. They're adverse to reason. They're adverse to freedom.
We're 100% exactly the reason that we're here.
And that's what I stated to you.
Right. That's why we're here, because it's state property. If this was private property, we wouldn't be here.
Okay.
So.
And we'll handle it accordingly. Like I said, I've already notified the primary people.
Yeah.
We'll handle it in the court. He's already notified the primary people. Why would he want to handle constitutional rights in the court? He's saying he's all good with constitutional rights, and that he knows all that stuff already that Rogue is saying, but at the same time he's threatening to somehow take him to court, and they're going to handle it all. He's threatening to take away constitutional rights in court. You know, I almost can't even watch this shit.
You notify whoever you'd like.
I have done that.
Yep. Yeah, we just come in public buildings and we take some video, we take some shots, make sure that our rights aren't violated, and then we're good to go.
C1. C3.
Let me ask you guys a question.
That's not allowed. You can't ask them questions.
We're not.
Look at this. Look at these two people here. So they're out here because of the cameraman, this situation, right? But what are they interested in? Well, they're really interested in something way out there in the street. I wonder why. They're so fixated out there. Look, they both have their hands in their pockets. They're standing the same way. Same as this guy. He's looking at the cameraman, though. He's about to get asked a question. That's scary.
Not answering any questions.
Oh, he's not going to answer any questions, right? Makes total sense, because questions are scary, right? Especially when they're all reasonable and stuff.
You're not? Okay.
Since you got a free right, so you say until we get to the bottom of it, we have that same right to not answer questions.
You've got a free right, so you say, until we get to the bottom of it. So he also has the same right to not answer questions. Say that to yourself slowly, and ask yourself what that even means.
Absolutely. I've been forthcoming with you, but you can...
but you're nonsensical.
C1 and C3.
Whatever you'd like to say, sir.
Yeah, see, I'm just getting mad watching this shit. What does this mean? What is this? Is he taking a DUI test?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
He's doing a little march. Oh, this guy marches too. That guy started walking like him. Now look, she's gonna walk like them too. Tap your feet. You know what that means, right? I want to leave. That's what this means. I want to leave. All the dancing, this stuff is basically I want to leave too. What's going on, this lady said. She's not marching. She seems to be walking more normally. This guy. Oh, this guy is actually limping.
That man can't even walk right. Y'all making him walk all around.
That man can't even walk right, and you guys are making him walk all around. All right, so this is what defeat looks like. If you watch videos like this, as soon as they're at the phone, this is what happens right here when you do not know your job. When you don't know what to do, when you're totally clueless. He's literally looking in his phone. This is what you do to like avoid social contact, to avoid eye contact, to avoid reasoned discussion with the person standing in front of you. And when you're looking for answers for something you don't know, and look at this. Same thing with her. She's still fixated on something way out on the street out there. There must be something really good out there, right?
All right, guys, so you see the situation here. We showed up here to the Cadwell Regional Youth Development Regional Detention Center. And gentleman here says we don't have a right to be on the property. He's brought 2 guards out here on the public dime to waste their time walking around doing nothing.
So now he's probably taking a picture on his phone. But I just want to note that what Rogue Nation is doing right now is he's talking to the audience. He's talking to us. But at the same time, he's talking to these dimwits right here. It's purposeful dialogue.
Creating a public record on his phone there, D-Saw. So D-Saw has some cameras on his phone that I'm going to be requesting, some photos on his phone. That's a public record, sir. Don't erase that. That's actually a crime.
Now, I'm just going to pause it again and say what you already know. What this is all about is that they come out to Rogue Nation and they say, hey, you're supposed to be a slave. And he says, oh, I'm not a slave. And then they're like, this guy says he's not a slave. So they get everyone involved to try to turn him into a slave. That's what's happening. They're trying to turn him into a slave. Imagine if it wasn't Rogue Nation. Imagine if it was your grandma or your brother, your sister, some random person. Imagine how quickly they would flip them over into a slave. That's what they're confused about. That's what the confusion is about. Why won't he accept his slavery?
So now we are not only here to
He is standing his ground.
We're also here for a
He is
public
standing
records
his
request
ground.
now. We're going to request those photos that D-Saw took.
So he's standing his ground is the title of the video. That's what the guy reported on the phone. That's the problem. He's standing his ground.
After checking, you're not supposed to be on my state property, and I do have cameras in my phone and other things that's recording you and your friend.
After checking, you're not supposed to be on my state property. Did you hear that? I told you this is all about slavery. This guy wants to enslave people. It's not a joke.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you again to leave off my state property. If you want to be off state property, you can do all the recording you like until something else is done. But right now, you don't need to be standing right here in front of my facility.
Yabba dabba 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 do. You can't even think, motherfucker.
I told you before.
Shut the fuck
I'm
up.
going to ask you to leave again.
Shut the fuck up.
Or if you want to get off my state property, you can do whatever you want to do on the other side of that state property.
He ain't gonna do shit,
Which
bitch.
state property line?
Isn't that right of the right of way of that road right there?
No, I'm good.
Nah, I'm good. You see, what I was just saying, all that shit like fuck you, you could say that, but really you just need to be like, nah. Don't follow my example. Follow Rogue. I'm in my living room right now.
Yeah.
I got my hands in my pockets and I can, whenever you say something that makes sense, I look at the ground. I'm scared of reason. All right, so
What state law is that a violation of again?
see that? What state law is that a violation of again? And she looks down at the ground.
Or is it?
Oh, did you see that? She looked right at him. She's like, "What? Do you know? What are we doing out here? Why are we out here? Are we trying to get this guy to be a slave? Are we trying to enslave this guy? Are we a whole bunch of black people trying to enslave a person and complaining that they're free? No, no. Just look at the ground.
Just a violation of a made-up rule. Georgia State Statute number what?
Activism News Network. Lee Awesome Major.
Disgrace.
Violence on corruption rights.
Videos.
Body cam footage.
This guy has a gray beard. He may have lived through the civil rights movement. And look how confused and avoidant he is about just fundamental rights, fundamental American values. This is no ethics. The walk of shame. You know, just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Click, click, click your heels like freaking Kansas. Like Dorothy in Kansas.
I said
This
that
guy's
you
going back to
went
Oz. I
back
think this is the end of the
inside,
video.
guards inside,
Nothing else
went back
happens.
inside.
So, I mean, if you don't know already, subscribe to Rogue Nation, because Rogue Nation is the man. I'm subscribed and I rung the bell.
Have a great day, okay?
You just need to be like, nah. Don't follow my example. Follow Rogue. I'm in my living room right now.